Max Verstappen delivered Red Bull their 100th win in F1 with another lights flag victory at the Canadian Grand Prix. Verstappen extended his World Championship lead to 69 points as he picked up his sixth victory of the season and 40th overall, driven level with Ayrton Senna in fifth in the all-time F1 standings. Fernando Alonso returned to the podium with a second place finish, with Lewis Hamilton completing the top three. Hamilton initially got ahead of Alonso at the start offline, but the Spaniard reclaimed the second spot after a safety car period caused by George Russell hastening the wall, with Alonso being told to lift and coast due to a rear braking issue. For much of the second half of the race, Hamilton closed out to win the second half of his own rival, but couldn't match second. Red Bull's margin of victory was also the smallest it had been all season, finishing 9.2 seconds behind Verstappen was Alonso. Having initially thought his contact with the barrier was race ending, Russell had produced a fine recovery drive to get out to 8, but had to retire on lap 55 with a brake problem. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez had all made up positions by staying out during the safety car period, came home 5th, 4th and 6th after sensing 10th, 11th and 12th. Ferrari instructed Sainz not to attack Leclerc, while Perez struggled to put pressure on the two red cars after losing out in an opening lap battle with Sainz. Alex Albon delivered wins their best result since 2021 Belgian Grand Prix. He finished 7th in the highly upgraded FW45, fending off the challenge of Alpine's Esteban Ocon in the late stages. Lando Norris came home 9th on the road, but was demoted to 13th after 5 seconds penalty for being too slow behind the safety car. As a result, Lance Stroll was lifted tonight in his home race, and Valtteri Bottas completed the top 10. Verstappen has now led the last three Grand Prix from start to finish, with no other driver having held the lead since he overtook Perez in lap 48 of the Miami Grand Prix. The Dutchman was in control from the moment he got away well from pole position to see off any threat behind, and despite an apparent bird strike, had opened up a 3-second advantage in 10 laps. His early advantage was wiped out when the safety car was deployed for Russell's jump, but the championship leader raced the restart immediately, getting himself out of any DRS threat behind. Indeed, the stiffest challenger would once again be himself, with Verstappen saying he nearly knocked himself out with a rough ride over the curves with just 5 laps left. After matching Senna's win, he said to win 100th Grand Prix for the team is pretty incredible. It's amazing. I never expected to be myself on these kind of numbers as well. We just keep working hard and enjoy it. I expected more or less what we had to say, but it's really difficult to get those temperatures into temperature, so there was not much grip, but maybe there was a gap that's not too big. But while Verstappen had a serene drive out front, there was plenty of battles behind. The same, and that included Hamilton and Alonso, of course, with Hamilton passing his old rival into turn 1. The opening lap also saw hard racing between Perez and Sainz in the field. Perez starting 12th, got ahead of the Ferrari through the corners, but Sainz fought back to reclaim 11th down the back straight. However, Kevin Magnussen also nearly hit the wall as he raced up behind the squabbling pair. Alonso then hit the wall fairly hard with the right rear on lap 5 as he pushed to keep the pressure on Hamilton in the early stages. The duel would continue, but Alonso could never get quite close enough to overtake, although Russell's error in the other Mercedes will provide an opportunity for a safety car. Indeed, Hamilton and Alonso would nearly almost collide in the pit lane as their teams rushed to secure second place, but Alonso would seize the chance 5 laps off the safety car and ended with the move down the straight into the final chicane. But after opening a 5-second gap on his teammate, a rear brake issue on Alonso's Aston Martin allowed Hamilton to close back into touching distance with 10 laps remaining. Alonso would see off the threat and push to his 6th AE of the season and second run of that sort. We're hoping to challenge a little more with the Red Bull, but we lost the place to Lewis. Alonso said, I didn't have one lap where I could relax a little bit, so it's an amazing battle. It was tough and very demanding, all 70 laps of the qualifying today. While Hamilton was unable to get a second consecutive podium finish, the 7-time world champion was slotted for another podium with the W14 that's progressing since the Monaco upgrade. It's been a great weekend for us, with Mercedes chipping away. We know this weekend won't be our strongest successes because we're struggling particularly in slower corners. This was just where I was losing to Fernando Alonso just on traction out of pretty much every corner. I do believe we will get there, but our pace was a little bit closer today, so we're going in the right direction. Ferrari also showed signs of improvements, improved race pace and better tyre deck, allowing them to switch onto a one-stop strategy after opting not to pit behind a safety car. After a superb qualifying in what Albon had topped Q2 after being the first driver to brace slick tyres in the wet, the Williams driver started again on Sunday to deliver his best result for the team. And the London-born tyre driver was the most of Williams' one-stop strategy, and despite being worn tyres and without DRS, he first fended off Russell and then later taxed from Ocon. Albon was the only driver running Williams upgrades this weekend. Team Matt Legan and Sargent retired with a critical issue after the performance of the FW45 in his hands will offer confidence of a potential upturn in fortune as F1 returns to Europe. We did an amazing step, said Albon. 2 weeks ago I was at the factory and I didn't want to call it a crisis, but we were quite low on parts. We had a meeting and everyone sacrificed their weekends and work all night and this. McLaren's nice provided some of the overtaking highlights, but good ease on Kevin Magnussen, especially Bottas 6 laps remaining. He attacked Ocon with the final laps and went side by side with the Alpine in the final chicane, but had to back out, and his 5-second penalty would demote him out of the points. And before I go, let me run you through the final classification from the Canadian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen winning, no surprise anymore. He was just absolutely dominant here. And yeah, once again, faultless. Alonso in second, great job from him. I think, yeah, the Aston probably had a bit more pace than the Mercedes here, so makes sense. For him to get second, probably maximise the result, as did Lewis Hamilton as well. Really good drive from him, and the two Ferraris came in behind. Great recovery drives from them. And yeah, all of those teams just seem to be chipping away at Red Bull ever so slightly. Perez in sixth, just so disappointing. He had to be finishing ahead of the two Ferraris at least, if not challenging Hamilton and Alonso. In that car, his performances really since Miami have just been really, really poor. Then you got Albon in seventh. For me, probably the driver of the day. How he managed to get seventh in that car, that Williams is literally impossible to take on a straight line. Just an incredible result for them and Williams. Arkin next will be disappointed that to get past Albon, but except for that max close result. Stroll ninth, yeah, hit some points, but I mean, really, like Paris, he should be doing much better in a car he's got, as his teammates proving. Bottas 10th for 2 test races for him, so happy to see him in the points. Then you got Piastri in 11th, Norris in 13th. Obviously, from McLaren so close, but missing out on points will be deeply frustrating for them, especially Gasly. He's had a poor few races where Ocon's really been taking advantage of it. Then you got Tsunoda 14th. Yeah, AlphaTauri just didn't seem to have the pace this weekend, so disappointing for them. With De Vries in 18th, and yeah, let's touch on him on Magnussen because that really wasn't great from either of them. Haas really poor race pace as well, so disappointing from them. Joe 16th, not a great weekend as well for him with Bottas where he is. Russell, just an absolute honker of a day. He needs to forget that and move on quickly. And Sargent, yeah, unlucky to retire so early. But anyway, guys, that's it video. Thanks very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. If thoughts going to do a daily F1 news and subscribe, it's going to be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.